Good morning. I don't know when you will watch this, but I try to start my mornings as good as I can in quiet and peace. And here you see me opening my first present from Julie. That wasn't part of the advent calendar, it was an extra present, and it is so pretty. I love these pot holders very much. I have another pair from another viewer of the podcast. It's great that I can switch them out every once in a while now. Every morning, with my first cup of coffee, I read one chapter of The Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. And it is very hard to hold me back because I always want to read further than one chapter. My daily walks with Benny 3 times a day are sometimes a burden because you have to stop what you're doing if you are in the middle of a task or work and he needs to go out. But it's also a great opportunity to stop thinking, to just enjoy the nature, unwind and have a break. And I was very lucky because we had a little bit of snow. It is the second year. For this advent calendar I have knit for Tommy last year, and it is very much fun to fill it. Every sock is knit out of Christmas yarn by the German company Wollbutt, but there is hobbii.com, hobbii.com, and they have similar yarns and they ship, I don't know if worldwide, but to the US. And every sock contains a sweet treat like chocolate and a little letter. And I write every day something about what I love about Tommy or what I appreciate about him. This is the advent calendar I have received from Lily. Her YouTube channel is called Lily of Norway. It's a channel about slow living on the countryside of Norway. And we swap advent calendars for, Lily, do you know how long we do this? I don't know, since years. And this is the advent calendar by Julie. I hope I pronounce your name always right. Please correct me if I'm wrong. And we are swapping this year the first time. I always like to swap with people, with Yanni friends and followers, because it is so much more personal than buying an advent calendar. And it's fun to put them together for the other person. Here you see me winding yarn for a custom order. I was so happy that I received a custom order in my Etsy shop, and she is a repeat buyer, so that makes it extra special. And I'm winding the colorway Plum Tree at the moment. It's heavy sparkling yarn. It's sock yarn, and I think I should steal one skein for myself because I like it very much. But I have to wait. I have so much on the needles and hook at the moment. So, and because only dyeing 2 skeins of yarn is not worth to start the dyeing process, so I dyed a few more skeins, and they are already listed in the shop. This is the colorway Home, my favorite color, and with this colorway I'm designing our next mystery knit along. To start this business next to my main job is challenging, but I enjoy it so much. I don't know, maybe it's not so weird. When I talk about it, it seems to me a little weird, but to make something in a very complicated way, I mean, store-bought yarns are produced with machines and everything is efficient and fast, and therefore cheaper. But to make something with my own hands, and you go on with making something out of it with your hands, creating something special, this is so mind-blowing for me. I love that. I love that. And that is why I enjoy the mystery knit along also so much, because I see you knitting up my pattern. You know, I have written down the words and you do what the pattern says. You trust me. And I see the progress of your socks and they are lovely. You make a great job on knitting these mystery advent socks. So my tiny little business is growing slowly but steady. And, you know, I don't need to hurry. It's lovely to recognize the people who buy from me when they buy the second or third time. And I enjoy the process of packaging your orders and adding tea and candy just to cheer you up a little bit during these hard times. As you see here, this is English tea shop tea. Yeah, I love being Anna knitter, I can tell you, and I love making something for the shop. It is great. Hello everybody, I thought I would sit down and talk with you a little bit. You have probably, I'm not in the post-production yet, you have probably seen me doing some cozy things or maybe taking walks with Benny. And today is Friday, so Friday before the second Sunday of Advent. It is the December 3rd, so I thought I would chat with you a little bit about my Advent calendars and Advent projects and our mystery Advent knit along that started 3 days ago, and I am blown away about your feedback, and it is still unbelievable that you trust me so much that you buy a pattern, my first pattern, without knowing how it will look and if it turns out well. I mean, you just trust me, and that is amazing, and I love your photos and your comments and everything, so it's amazing. We are over 100 participants already. Every day people start, even later in the game, that is not a problem. And if you want to knit the pair of socks after the mystery knit along has ended, that is no problem. I will update the pattern on Ravelry and Etsy, so you can have a look at the project pages and the photos and so on, and then decide to buy the pattern if you like. But it won't contain the Advent traditions and songs, only the pattern. Okay, I hope the light is okay. It's a little bit difficult this afternoon. Okay, first of all, today, no, I will show you some of the yarn. Is it some of the yarns or all the yarns? No, all the yarns I have received in my advent calendar so far. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. They are from both of my advent calendars. One is from Lily of Norway and the other one is from Julie from Instagram. Yeah. And one day Lily added this sparkle yarn. She said it's for stitching, but I think I can hold it double with a yarn, and so I have sparkle yarn. And that reminds me of a thing I'm planning already for for the year after next year for a very exciting knit along. But you know, it's a secret. And today Julie added this pretty Christmas bracelet, and now I can wear it. It is so cute. Wait. No, that's not easy to show you. There is a Christmas tree. Then my other advent project, I have started this right before Tom and I started to watch the Star Wars movies, because we decided to make a marathon again, but a little different than the years before. The 2 years before, we tried to watch all the Star Wars movies within a few days between Christmas and New Year. That is a challenge. So we decided to start the first one. I never remember the titles of the movies. I'm sorry, but we watch in the story order, not the published order. So Anakin is still small and not dangerous. So, and while we watched this, I crocheted on my loop. Oh, the pattern name. I'm sorry, you will read it on the screen. It is a very huge loop because it will be, I can wear it like this. So, you know, it's not much to see, and it's red. Red is always very difficult for a camera. Don't ask me why. I don't know why. Yeah. It is very easy, but many stitches, and crocheting at that stage I can't do without looking at the fabric. But I think it will have granny stripes also in that pattern, and that is easier because you only have to go into the big holes to do the double crochets instead of going into the stitch. Yeah, that is very Christmassy. The yarn is from Austria. And she still has Christmas bobble, we say, cakes. And my other Christmas or Advent project is still my sock. So my Christmas yarn sock. I have already started to knit the heel, and I am at the last rows of the heel flap. I can't remember where I was last time showing. I think somewhere like here. But with the so with my work and my Etsy shop and Vlogmas and my voluntary work and friends and weird political and, yeah, let's say political situations at the moment, I can't knit so much, at least on one project, because I'm also at the moment knitting on a new design. Because, so I try to do the next mystery knit along very soon. I hope to be able to release it on the first day of February, but maybe it will be the first day of March. So keeping fingers crossed that I can spend some time during my holidays when I'm off work for designing, so that I can design a little more because it is a bigger project than only a pair of socks. I can tell you it will be a cowl, and I love it. I love the pattern. I have already written the pattern, but now I have to, yeah, you know, I have to knit it up and do some troubleshooting. And I did already some troubleshooting. For example, it will contain stripes here and there, so striping, but one row striping. And you know, the jogs you always create when you change the color. And I don't want to do helical knitting because you have to think so much. So I found a way to knit jogless stripes. It wasn't easy. I spent the whole morning. How do you say this in English? In German we say I stood up at 5 o'clock in the morning. That means I not awoke at that time. I actually left the bed, brushed my teeth, and went down. You know what I mean? So I stood up. I got up at 4:30 one day this week, prepared myself a cup of coffee, and started working on that design because, you know, I am independent in my shop, so it's an official business that I have here in Germany now with Etsy, because taxes and so on, you have to do that. But I'm not independent only, so I'm not working only as an independent yarn dyer and pattern designer. My main job is still in the Pregnancy Help Center. So that means, in addition to my nearly full-time job, I try to build a business and to write patterns. And so you have to make commitments. And since I'm an early bird, it's okay to get up early and start designing. So I spent a whole morning before work with troubleshooting. And I can show you my cast on and ribbing already. I won't show everything, but because I think it will, yeah, I want to do a mystery knit along again. But I can show you the ribbing, because pretty much everything starts with ribbing. And the color is Home. It's available in my Etsy shop. To be honest, it is my most favorite colorway of all colorways I have ever knit up. And I don't mean only my colorways. It's my favorite colorway in general. I really love Home because it has all my favorite colors. It has blue, brown, beige, and it's just pretty. So, and that is the start. And my second color is this one. Who is surprised? No one, because blue is my favorite color. And this is called Jeans. And I think there's still some jeans in the shop left. And with this pattern I also will, I think, if you are interested, I will offer kits. So if you buy a kit, the yarn will be a little cheaper than if you buy two skeins separately. Because that is, in my opinion, what kits should be about. It should be cheaper. And I haven't started it yet, but I want to start my next color block, you see, of my Cozy Memories blanket, only with my Christmas yarns. You know, all the Christmas leftovers I have. I haven't cast on, but I want to. And I don't know when I will have the time. That's not correct because we all have 24 hours, but I have now 3 whips going, and that's not usual for me anymore. I'm pretty monogamous. Oh, and I don't know if I showed you already. I haven't stitched on it for a while, but I thought I would stitch on it while during Advent. I haven't done it yet, just because you can't do everything. I started this Advent calendar, and it looks like this. But I haven't stitched on it for weeks. Did I show you? I don't think so. I think I didn't. I will have to show it again in my next podcast, but I have finished. Did I show you? I don't know. My finished brown block. Yeah, so I can put it here. I can't attach it to the blanket at the moment because I always need 3 to attach, and then so I attach them in horizontally and then vertically. So I have to finish another one, and I was going to do the next one in blue. It smells so good. But since it's Advent now, I would enjoy knitting the Christmas yarns. So that was everything regarding crafting, knitting and so on. What else can I tell you? I can tell you that I don't want to talk too much about it because it should be, first of all, here our podcast niche here on YouTube should be a safe space and a happy space. But I have to admit that now even I have reached the point where the political situation here in Germany is making something with me. So, and I won't talk about what is bothering me and so on, but maybe it could help you what helps me. So because for those of you who aren't living in Germany or don't know what is happening in Germany, we are having a new government soon. So it is, they build up their coalition. Is this the English word? In German we say that. So we have a new government, and I have read already a few things they want to do in the future, and let's sum it up, I'm not amused. I'm not happy about it. It's the opposite. I'm worried a lot about the future of Germany, to be honest. And then in addition to that, we all who have this COVID craziness going on with everything that all the countries struggle with, including how it's called in English? Mandatory vaccine mandatory. You know, when you are forced to get the vaccine. So many people are worried and stressed and suffer from anxiety and are depressed for several reasons. So many people are alone, so many people are anxious because they are in fear to get infected, or they are in fear the vaccine couldn't help them or harm them, or there are so many things people worry about at the moment. And the last 2 years, we are in the second year already of this pandemic, I only had, all in all, I would say 2 weeks where I was down. I could handle this pandemic very well because of several reasons. I know that I have resilience, a very strong resilience, maybe because of past struggles I went through. But this week, so the last 5 days, it was very hard for me. The whole situation, it was just too much. It was too much because it's too many things that are happening at the same time. And it's not only these two I was talking about. It's just there are so many things where I have to defend myself or to explain myself, or where I see I don't fit in. I don't just fit in the mainstream. And that can be very exhausting. And I was talking a lot with my friends and colleagues and with my priest, for example. And what I try to do now, it might be helpful for you, but for some of you maybe not. So you have to pick what you can use. But first of all, I have, when I open a new tab, when in my browser, when I'm Googling something, I always received snippets of the news from different newspapers or online blogs or whatever. And I always read the headlines. I never installed that. It was just by its I'm using Firefox. So I'm opening a new tab and I'm reading, I don't know, the COVID cases are rising and sky high, or this happened and here the politicians decided this and that, and you know, you were Googling something like for knitting and then you were hit into your face with bad news. So Tommy showed me how to turn this off. Now I don't see these news snippets. I really don't need. I don't need them and I don't see them anymore. I did the same with my iPhone. Always when I swipe to the left, it was the same. There was this news widget. I deleted it. I don't see this on my phone anymore. I will see all the things on social media, but that's the next step. What can you do when you are confronted with bad news, with something that causes anxiety and depression? It's like a cloud. You should handle it like a cloud. And I say that, but at the same time I know it's not easy. But a cloud comes and you don't have to focus on the cloud. It will move slowly. Sometimes it will stay, but it will move away. It will. You can let it move, and then it is away, and you see the sky again. That is something. So don't focus on that. Don't read everything. Don't argue in your head. Stop arguing in your head. Don't comment everything. Just let it pass. For me, very important. You know, I'm a Christian. I'm a Catholic. Is praying. Not, you know, you can pray 3 rosaries a day and you can go to the liturgy every day and so on. Do that. Go for it. I'm not that kind of person. But the most important prayer for me is not as I want, but as you want. You know, I don't know how to say this in English properly, but I don't know what is right or wrong. I don't know what is good for me and good for society. I simply don't know, because I'm just Anna, you know? I'm not someone with a huge wisdom or something. I don't know. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to decide. But who knows? God knows. He knows it best. And if we trust him and ask him for help, you know, you have to deal with this. You have to care. I don't know. I trust you. Yeah. Also, the Jesus I trust in you is very helpful. You know, the famous painting from which Sister Faustina Kowalska has painted, the nun from Poland. One of my favorite saints, by the way. So Jesus, I trust in you. You have to do. That is, for me, very helpful. And a third thing which is very helpful is when you are together, and that is difficult, but I try. If I don't feel the need to talk about several problems, when you come together with friends or you're on the phone or whatever, if this pandemic or political topics also come into the focus again, stop talking about it. Say, let's not talk about it again. Let's talk about something else and start a new topic. That's helpful. I'm very grateful when other people do that, so I don't have to do it. Because sometimes we want to talk about something and it's not good. Let's just not talk too much about it. Because we can't solve the problem. We won't. We just won't solve the problem just by talking about it. But it will cause so much stress in us to constantly talk about these challenges. And the fourth thing is something we all do, is do what you love. Do what you love and try to come into the flow moment. So when you don't have this with knitting, try something else. Flow means you do something that occupies your thoughts and everything. Not too much, but enough. For example, I often experience this with coloring. I don't know why. When I come into the stage where I just color, sometimes I don't have to listen to something. I like to turn on ambience sounds, for example, not music with text or music I know, because then my brain will wander, but just ambience music. There are several channels on YouTube you can choose. And I only color, and the only decisions and thoughts I have in my mind are, oh, which color next? So maybe you find something. For some people it's gardening. You can't gardening right now in the northern hemisphere, but for example you can make, I don't know the English word, you read it on the screen, but you can paper craft, you can journal, you can, oh, what I can suggest, something very lovely I can suggest, and you can find it also on Ravelry. There is a group on Ravelry which is called Creating and Swapping with Love. There you can find pen pals. You can do several things. You can just write nice cards and you can swap cards every month, or there is a year-long swap. So everyone receives a card from everyone who is participating on their birthday. So you can make cards, for example. Or you can find a pen pal, you can just write letters. I do that with some from the US and some from Germany, and it is lovely. So you do something completely different. You use your stickers and your fancy pencils, and I have forgotten the English word for Füller. The German word is Füller, what you start to write with in school after the pencil. Yeah, that is something very nice. So find something that puts you in the flow. Yeah, I thought maybe these 4 tips could be helpful for you. That is something I struggle with every day now, but I find all these things very helpful. And for the religious people among you, find a priest. Or if you are in another religion, I don't know how it's called in English, you know, the man of God. Find a man of God, find a priest, and ask him for advice. He will be able to help you. You know, he will give you homework for praying, or he will get your thoughts right. He will help you. I had a phone call with my, oh dear, what it is in English? In German it is called geistlicher Begleiter, so maybe a spiritual leader. I will look up the correct word on them, and you will read it on the screen. And he knows me since we met in Medjugorje back then. So when was I in Medjugorje back then? I think I was 16. Yes, after my first school, not degree, it's not called degree. Sorry, when I left the first school in Germany, so with 16. So he knows me since 17 years now. Oh dear, I'm old. 17 years now. Wow. No, that is not correct. I'm not that old. Since 15 years, so 15 years. And that is helpful, you know, if you have someone who is a pro in spiritual questions. Okay. I think I will sum it up here and wish you all the best. I hope these tips will help you. Take your time, do what you love, and don't focus too much on the negative things. Try to savor Advent. Bye.